church family. Again, I apologize for the late hour of the video, but I'm glad that we at least have the opportunity to be able to get together whenever you have the opportunity to join us and watch. So let me get right into it, because I do feel that this is a very important week, and that's one of the reasons that I did not want to miss this, even if it had to be late. We're talking about, of course, the 6 seasons of life, spiritually speaking, that we go through. And obviously this is not only just spiritually, but there's a lot of times that we feel, even in our emotions, we go through some of these types of seasons. And I think especially this week, you'll really be able to relate not only spiritually, but emotionally to it. And that is number 3, the grinding season. This is also known as the busy season. And I think that's why now you can understand that I say it's not just a spiritual thing, but I'm sure an emotional one as well. It seems like I just never have, or we never have enough time to get everything done. Starting to sound very familiar, isn't it? And I would imagine that, again, if you are not in this season, you have been in your life. Of course, the fact that we're in the first part of December, we're in the holiday and the Christmas season, and busyness is just a part of life. Sometimes we accept that and think that not only is it a part, but just one of those things that we have to live with and deal with. But I'm talking about more than just the Christmas or holiday season, New Year's, and all of these things that keep us busy and keep us going to parties and all kinds of different events. But I'm talking about even when we would normally find ourselves being able to relax, to just take in a little bit of a break, so to speak, not being able to, because we just seemingly are always at the grind, always doing something, always busy. And there are seasons in our life, even spiritually, that we feel like we're in that type of a place, that type of position where we're always just so busy. And I will caution you, not only in your spiritual, but also in your emotional, in your home life, in work life, all of these things, there has to be a balance to it. There has to be a balance. You only have 24 hours in a day. There's only 365 days in a year. And as we know, the Bible has said we only have so many years on this earth. That means we've got to make the best of the time that we have. We've got to use it the proper way and do something great with it, and not just waste it or abuse that time and the privilege that we have. And oftentimes we feel like if we don't get enough done, or if we don't do enough, that somehow we have not done what we should for the day. And we lay down at night feeling like there's just so many things left undone. I will tell you that if you spent every waking hour of the day and then some working and doing and always taking care of chores and projects and things, you'll still never get all of it done. Now, that's not to be a discouragement, but it is to try to help you to realize that it's not always about those things. If you go back to Genesis, we see that God, during creation, did so many wonderful things in all of the days of creation. And then after 6 days, he rested. He took a time, he took a moment, and he just said, okay, I've done what I set out to do, what I intended and planned, what was part of my grand design. Now, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to relax, and I'm going to take it easy and just enjoy what I've done. And oftentimes, this is the part that we forget when we're in the grinding season, or when we're in that busy season. We're doing so much and we stay so busy that we forget to stop and just enjoy the things that we've already done, because we're already moving on to the next project, to the next thing that has to be done, to the next school event, to the next work event, to whatever it is that we have to do. I like what the old timers used to say, every now and then you just got to stop and smell the roses. Some of us are so busy, the roses are passing us by, and we've never stopped to realize not only is there an incredible amount of beauty there, but there's a fragrance there that is so sweet and such a wonderful thing. We're so busy we don't even notice it. Stop and smell the roses. Stop and enjoy some time to yourself, time with your family, time with your friends, those that you love to spend time with. And don't feel guilty or feel bad because of it. And even when we're working for God, don't think you have to do everything at one time or all of it as quickly as possible. In fact, sometimes I've mentioned before that we feel like we have to win the whole world. And God never instructed us to win the whole world, just one of us. No, He has an entire network and family of people. All of God's children work together to preach the gospel to the whole world, but one person doesn't have to do it. We work together to reach as many people as we can. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming when you see the big picture, if you look at too much of it. But if you focus on one small part, then you can realize, hey, I can see that. I can focus on that. I can focus not only my attention, but my time, my efforts. I can really put something in and make something happen there. And because of that, we get things done. Now, I know a lot of people, no offense, but especially ladies, are not going to like this, but a study was done a few years back, and the results were astounding. They said of all of these people, because we love to talk about how we can multitask and do so many things at once and so many things at the same time, and yet they went back, and men and women both, they tested and they checked and just continued to test and check and analyze all the data. And when it came back, they found that people who focus on one thing, one task, if you will, complete it, get it done, move on to the next, are actually more productive than those who can so-called multitask. And the reason is because, again, we get in such a grind and such a busyness that we forget to just even stop and take that break, which recharges us, which renews us, makes it easier to work, easier to do the things that we need to do. And I will tell you that where church is concerned, that doesn't mean that we stop going to church, but every now and then we do need to take that break and just say to ourselves, whether it's on a vacation or whether it's like right now, we're not going to church on Wednesday nights. Use this as an opportunity to remind yourself and to think about and truly just enjoy not only what God has done, where He's brought you from to where you are now, but even look forward to what God has in store for you, what's about to happen. Let this season be one of blessing. Let this season be one of excitement as we build the anticipation and the thought of what God is about to do for each and every one of us. Take time to smell the roses. Sometimes I know we do have big projects and they have to be done. Focus on them, get it done, and then take a break. Take a little pause to just enjoy and to say, I'm thankful that I got that done. Now that I've had that pause and that time and that renewal, even in my spirit, it's time to go to the next. I was talking to a pastor just recently, and he was telling me about some of the things that were going on and some of the things that they were doing. And he made the statement, he said, we just simply got burned out. And he wasn't talking about ministry-wise or church-wise, but they had so many projects and so many things going on that they had just gotten burned out doing so much stuff. And so they just kind of took a pause and a break. They put all of those things on hold and said, you know what? We'll get back to them when we're ready. And you know what? The projects are going to be there when they get ready. They're not going anywhere. And so every now and then it's good to just take a pause, take a break, and just relax. Think about what God has done. Think about the good that through God you have been able to accomplish, and be thankful for that. Be appreciative for that. We just came through Thanksgiving. All the more reason to be thankful when we stop and think of all the things that God has done for us and that He's helped us to do and to accomplish. I know sometimes we think that we need more time, but I will tell you something, that God is pretty smart. And I know we know that, I get it, but He's pretty smart. And I think, in all honesty, I believe with my whole heart, if He thought we needed more time every day, He would have given it to us. But I think the Creator that made you and I in His likeness and in His image, who made the earth so amazing and wonderful, who put the stars in the sky and hung the moon where it's supposed to be
put the sun and lit it right where it's supposed to be, who did all of these things so perfect, I think he recognized they have enough time. It's not the time that it's the issue. The issue is, what do we do with our time? Do we know how to not only manage it, but also enjoy our time? Sometimes we stay so busy and we do so much that we forget to actually enjoy the time that God has given us. And remember that every day, every hour that we live, it is a gift from God. It's something that He has given to us, good days and bad. It's still a time to be joyful, rejoicing, and thank God that we are alive and that He has given us that opportunity. So never take that for granted. Busyness is becoming, if you will, a modern day value in America. In fact, I've heard a lot of people, and I've even used it myself. Hey man, how are you doing? Man, doing great, just busy, or busy but good. They always, and we so almost seem to relish in the fact that we're busy. Well, I think the fact of the matter is everybody's busy with something. Don't make busyness the main goal. Don't focus on busyness. Focus on those moments of pause, those moments of renewal, and let God recharge your batteries. Even if you are in the midst of a grinding, busy season in your life. And again, I'm not just talking about Christmas, but if you've got to keep at it and stay at it until Christmas is over and New Year's is over and you can take all the decorations down, great. January 2nd, prop your feet up, relax, and just take it easy. And I know for some people, even saying that or even thinking that is more than they can handle. They don't know what to do. I will tell you, even scripturally, God has taught us we need to find that time to rest. Not always be at the grind, not always be busy, but sometimes just rest. Psalm 95, verse 5 says, "In His hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to Him." He understands and He recognizes that every single one of us were made by Him, and we're doing exactly what He wants us to do in terms of living and thriving and maybe even somewhat being busy. But the fact is, He also wants us to rest and to take pause and to not always be so busy and so grinding every day with so much that we just feel like we're never going to get it all done. Well, again, we're not. So every now and then, just prop your feet up and relax. It'll all be there when you get done resting. Then you can get right back to the grind, as they say. The whole world rests in God's hands. That's not just that we sit in His hands, that He holds us in His hands, but we ought to rest in the hands of God. We ought to find peace. We ought to find relaxation. We ought to find the opportunity to rejoice and renew in the hands of God. That's what the scripture means here, that we rest in God's hands. Pace yourself. Pace your tasks. Don't forget to breathe. And I know that it sounds funny and a little bit trite, but sometimes we just need to take a pause and just take a deep breath. You know, we have these smartphones and we have these smart watches even, and I've got one that throughout the day at different times, if I'm really going and going and going, it'll stop me and say, hey, take 1 minute to take some deep breaths. And I have found that it works. Oftentimes I may be at work. I found it happening at church, anywhere where I'm really just blowing and going and the heartbeat is up and heart rate is higher maybe than normal. And so I'll take that pause for 1 minute, take those deep breaths, and it's amazing. I've seen my heart rate in just 1 minute's time drop by as much as 15 or even 20 beats per minute, just taking a moment to think. And I try to not only just do the breathing part, but also the last part of that, which is pray. When you're taking a break, when you're resting, Don't forget to pray. Talk to God. As soon as you finish, again, all of that other stuff will be there. You can carry on with your grind and your press. And at least at that point, you'll have a renewal of the strength of God in your life to help you get through whatever it is you've got to do and that you want to do. Rely on the Holy Ghost and let God lead you. Let God help you. And don't forget to pray throughout the day. It'll make a big difference. Stay at the grind. Don't forget every now and then to rest. I promise you'll enjoy it. Thank you again for being with us tonight and for allowing me the opportunity to come into your home. And I hope and pray that if you're in this season of busyness, that you don't let it just completely consume you. But find that day of rest. Find that moment of rest in your life and enjoy every minute of it. Love you. Can't wait to see all of you. And I know it's a little bit early, but I'm going to go ahead and just break it out. Merry Christmas. We'll see you soon. God bless.